SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Good morning everybody, let's have a look at Bitcoin, shall we? We'll think about the traditional markets first and we'll start with the Euro. So coming down into our Bollinger Band Centre, lovely place to catch a bounce from. So we did it 3 days now in a row, and so far we're back up to that 110 zone. Recognise that this is basically just an uptrend continuing, and we'll start to get bearish on it, I suppose, with closures below not just the Bollinger Band but below the 109.4, which will be 109.4 Rex City FM. But at the moment it's not. We've got some hidden bullish divergence as well on this last stage of the pullback. We'll just go to a 4 hour to see if there's anything on here. So 1-2 drives of hidden bullish divergence. Still, it's a relatively bullish trend. We'll start to catch a bit further moves on this one above 110. Really, basically, it's just this Bollinger Band Centre. Once that's been cleared, I'll be looking for further moves up, to be honest with you. New highs, new local highs at least on the Euro. And here we go. So we've got a miniature pullback on the S&P yesterday. This is a futures market. Coming down into that 50 exponential. Similar to Bitcoin, basically, as far as moving average is concerned. This went on to make a new local high. Pretty good stuff. Just taking to a 4 hour to see what's going on here, hoping for some Bollinger Band expansion. Yeah, we're getting that now. So there's a chance that we move up into the 4,200 area, maybe even as soon as today on this one. We're catching a break now on the 10 exponential. A break down from here is still not a big problem. It's just these are all very small moves, really. They're very small moves. Here to the Bollinger Band Centre is 6.6%, 0.85%, maybe 2%. All of those are perfectly acceptable areas to pull back into. And we do have a pump signal that's generated when we broke out the cloud over here around 4,133. So there's a lot of reason to think that the S&P is going to continue to go up. Now gold here on the daily still below these smaller term moving averages. Rejection on the Bollinger Band Centre yesterday. It's just looks like a normal consolidation in the form of a bullish trend still. Let's go to a 4 hourly, see if there's any clues on the 4 hourly. Yeah, so we're still waiting for this to sort of make its way back down to this 200 exponential on a 4 hourly. That'd be good, and see where we go from there. It might be worth taking a position on it in all fairness, or thereabouts, waiting for a reaction from it. I think as it stands right now, it's still consolidating. So consolidation in the form of what looks like roughly, and again this is a bit of an anomaly, but what looks to me like a falling wedge. So we're likely to break out of this. And look, if we look at the supports on this, it comes in at the bottom of the Bollinger Band on the 4 hourly, a 200 exponential on the 4 hourly. So yeah, this is more likely to bounce from here, then go back up to the top, and maybe we break out. I say maybe because trading within the formations, that involves an element of hopium, but yeah, falling channels, falling wedges, most likely resolve to the up, and the opposite is true for downside. Now let's have a look at the total too before we look at Bitcoin itself. So a bit of hopium from altcoins. So yesterday 200 exponential retested it once again. It's always a place to think about picking up altcoins, at least for a decent short-term and long-term position. Again, there's no question that Bitcoin's leading the market, and Bitcoin is being led by everybody else. Like I say, the S&P, the Euro, gold. It's the everything bounce, isn't it? So everything's moving up. So it looks very much like a bull market beginnings, and so Bitcoin is part of that, and altcoins are the last step of this domino effect that I speak of. But it doesn't mean that they can't run, because they certainly can. And building positions around these lower moving averages like this one. So this is 579 billion. But if we also go to the weekly, I noticed this as well. So the weekly's got like a mega support zone down here, like a really good entry point if we were to come down here. So if we do lose that 200 exponential on the daily, it's not too much of a problem. If anyone wants to pick up altcoins for the long haul, looking at the total too, there's an amazing support down here at 563.69 billion. Which is basically we're getting across now from the 20 moving average to the 200 exponential. So in itself, it's not something that you go, wow, 20 crossed to 200. Any moving averages crossing above the lower term moving averages is good. And at the moment, we're higgledy-piggledy. We're all over the place. We've got a 50, we've got a 10, we've got a 21, we've got the 200 and the 20, and then a 200 below here. So they're all, yeah, they're a mismatch. They're not supposed to be like this. This doesn't suggest anything like a trend or anything like that. When you get them all mixed together like this, if anything, it's an accumulation type vibe. But yeah, if you're looking for a long-term position in altcoins, generally speaking, and that, like I say, for the buy, hold, stake kind of vibe, I think that's a reasonable place, an entry point. And again, it's a broad overview of basically everything. You could buy like a steaming turd, obviously, and it not work out. But if you were to spread, some investment out across altcoins, that would be a pretty reasonable, educated guess to where a decent position would be built from. For, like I say, most stuff, so long as it's not the smallest, worst, stinkingest, rubbish coin you've ever seen in your life. That's a broad overview of the altcoin market around that level. So if we do come down to that level, then yeah, long-term entry points. I'll commit some more capital to altcoins at that point there for my buy, hold, stake situation. Banging it on a bit of SwissBorg or wherever allows me to stake it from. So yeah, eyes on the price. Now let's have a think about Bitcoin itself. So Bitcoin yesterday came down to the 50 exponential, which is what we were speculating about. Really, we were thinking, all right, okay, more of a pullback seems to be on the cards here, and maybe we come down to the 50 exponential where we had such a decent response last time. Now we've come down to it and we bounced from it. Currently we're green at the moment, and recognize that it's not just Bitcoin that's done that. The S&P's done that, obviously. So we moved up, retested on it, bang, up and away. Actually, that's just a 4 hourly. The daily did it, obviously, as well. We're all doing it. It's the latest. It's fashionable to bounce from the 50 exponential moving average at the moment. So that's the cool thing to do. If you're not bouncing on the 50 exponential, you're a loser. So basically, that's what it would appear has happened yesterday, and we're waiting to see if we have any kind of legs on this bounce here. So legs would be viewed again on the 4 hourly to see where we can reclaiming and staying, and actually being supported above 28,350 is where it's all at. Really, that's the 200 exponential on the 4 hourly. Now currently we do actually have 3 of the 4 components of a short signal. We're waiting for this portion of the cloud to go to go red. We've not done that yet. Volume's still pretty low. We're below the 0 point. We're snaking up ever so slightly, but no, it's not divergence. It's just mimicking price action on the oscillators here. So we are just sort of like ranging. But closures above, again, 28,350. But arguably, closures above 29, the magical 29,000 is going to be where it's at for me. And we make our way back up to that 29,000 and closure above there. We were above all major moving averages on the 4 hourly and on the daily, and that'll give it the power to move up to the holy grail of just below 32. Once you get to 32, though, like I say, there's no point in me running through this every single stream or every single video, but yeah, once you get to 32, there is a possibility that we go straight up to 38 and into the 40s. I know it sounds ridiculous, and right now it's hard for people to imagine, but it was also hard to imagine these sort of prices when I said that we're going to rally up to 19,500 back down here, and people were like, what are you talking about, man? It's never... And I was having all kinds of vomit all over the comments saying, no, you're wrong, you can't see what's going on. Obviously, it's going to keep going down because that's all we ever see. And it's easy for people to say this is going to keep going up because this is all anyone ever sees. But, when you see red, people generally consume, nothing more than red bias. When people see green, it's nothing more than green bias. And so to go green after a red, it's jarring for a lot of people. And I get that. It's counterintuitive for the most part trading. But that is how I see it. We're still being respected moving averages wise. Momentum's still good. We're not overheated on the weekly money flow index or anything like that to suggest any kind of popping is concerned. And the broader markets still point up for the time being. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll give it a little bit of a contingency time to maybe continue to go down a little bit more today. But over the well, I suppose we'll say relatively short term, so we'll talk a couple of weeks, I still expect this to continue to run up. There isn't any signs on the higher term timeframes to really think that this is fizzled out or is going to pop or break. And if we do pop or break, it's not going to go down lower than 21,500 in my opinion. In fact, I'd be very surprised to see it go down below 24,000 at this point. So all my entry points perfectly safe as far as I can see. Happy to hold them and rotate where possible. And from the available funds that I've got, you know, whether it's Tether or Fiat or whatever, I am actually going to start to throw some of that into altcoins as and when we get down to this level on the total too. So 562 billion would be, like I say, my entry point for some actual Tether. So rather than rotating from Bitcoins into altcoins, I'll stick some of my my stable coins and Fiat into some altcoins and just sit on those for a period of a couple of years. Allow them to stake. Right, thanks for watching. That's all I've got for you today. It is a watch and wait scenario, but I'm relatively hoping. I've got a lot of optimism in this market right now. Still looking pretty good as far as I can see. There's no real signs of catastrophe. Only entry points for me, I'm afraid. And no exit points. Not quite yet. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.